It feels like we all just woke up one day and suddenly artificial intelligence was, well, it was everywhere. It's in our phones, it's how we find stuff online, and now it's showing up in our classrooms. And for students and teachers, this isn't some sci-fi future. Nope, it's happening right now, and it's changing everything. So let's get into it. Just how big of a deal is this already? Well, get this. A recent survey found that almost 1 out of every 3 university students has used AI, like ChatGPT, to get their coursework done. We're not talking about a niche little tool for tech nerds here. This is mainstream, and our education system is, frankly, playing catch-up. Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at what this tech actually is. Then, we'll explore the incredible promise it holds, and, of course, the hidden dangers. After that, we'll talk about the single most important response, building something called AI literacy. And finally, we'll look at the rules and ethics we need to guide this whole thing. All right, first things first. When we say AI in the classroom, what are we really talking about? Because it's a very specific kind of AI that's causing all this buzz. The term you hear thrown around all the time is generative AI, and the keyword there is generative. It creates things. See, unlike other AIs that might just analyze data or predict what you want to buy next, this type of AI makes brand new stuff. It writes essays, it creates images, it writes code. It's a content creator, and that's exactly why it's turning education upside down. To really get what makes this different, just think about the AI you're already familiar with. The AI in a chess game. That's reactive. It just reacts to your moves. The AI that knows exactly what show you're going to binge watch next on Netflix, that's predictive. But generative AI, that's a whole different league. It's not just guessing what you want. It's building something new, from scratch, right in front of your eyes. And with that kind of creative power, wow, it opens up this incredible, optimistic vision for learning, something educators have only dreamed of for, ever. So here's the big promise. What if every single student could have their own personal tutor, on call 24/7? Just imagine that. A system that knows you're struggling with fractions and gives you instant help right when you need it. Or one that creates reading assignments perfectly matched to your level. And for teachers, it could mean finally getting rid of all that grading and paperwork so they can focus on what really matters, inspiring their students. And this gets to the absolute core of what modern education has been trying to achieve for decades. We've been stuck in this one-size-fits-all classroom model forever, and AI might just be the key that finally unlocks true personalized learning for every kid. But that leads us to the million-dollar question, right? Is this a powerful tool that helps students learn on a deeper level? Or is it just a really sophisticated crutch that lets them skip the hard work of actually thinking? And that question, well, it opens the door to the flip side of the coin. The really significant, kind of scary risks that are baked right into this technology. And listen, these perils are no joke. We're talking about AI models that could actually reinforce negative stereotypes. We're talking about massive amounts of student data being collected, and who knows where it goes. And then there's the very real fear that the gap between rich schools and poor schools is just going to get wider. But the big one, the one that keeps educators up at night, is academic integrity. Is AI just a shortcut to cheat? So you might be thinking, are teachers going to become obsolete? Well, when a university in Hong Kong asked students and teachers that exact question, the answer was a pretty loud nope. On a scale of 1 to 5, look how low those agreement scores are. Both groups seem to get that real education needs that human connection, something a machine just can't fake. And that really gets to a fundamental danger here. If we get too obsessed with using AI to boost performance and chase test scores, we risk what some researchers call the dehumanization of learning. We could end up prioritizing what a machine can measure over the very skills that make us human, things like creativity, teamwork, and ethical thinking. Okay, so we've got this amazing promise on one side and these serious dangers on the other. So, where do we go from here? Well, it turns out the answer isn't to ban the tech. It's to teach everyone, students, teachers, all of us, how to use it wisely. The big solution that everyone's landing on is something called AI literacy. And this is so much more than just learning how to use an app. It's about really understanding how this stuff works, knowing how to use it in a good, ethical way, and most importantly, having the skills to step back and critically think about the impact it's having. So what does it actually mean to be AI literate? Well, one of the best frameworks out there breaks it down into 3 parts. First up is knowledge. This doesn't mean you need to become a programmer. It just means pulling back the curtain and understanding that AI isn't magic. It's a tool, it's built on data, and it has some very real limitations. The second piece is skills. And this is where our class of human abilities become more important than ever. We're talking about critical thinking, problem solving, creativity. It's about teaching students not to just copy paste an answer, but to question it, to challenge it, and to use AI as a thinking partner, not a replacement for their own brain. And finally, and honestly, this might be the most crucial one, we have attitudes. This is all about our mindset. It means being curious and playful with the tech, but also being responsible and asking, just because we can do this, should we? It's about building empathy and making sure these tools are actually helping people. But we can't just put all the pressure on individuals to figure this out. We also need smart, thoughtful rules and policies to make sure schools and universities are rolling this out the right way. And what's really cool is that when you look at the guidelines coming from big groups like UNESCO or the EU, you see the same core ideas again and again. And they all tell one clear story. AI has to serve humanity, not the other way around. That means humans stay in charge, the systems have to be fair, we need to understand how they work, and at the end of the day, someone is always accountable. So how does a school actually do that in the real world? Well, here's a fantastic model from those researchers in Hong Kong. They show that this can't just be a problem for the IT department to solve. It needs everyone. You need teachers thinking about it in the classroom. That's the pedagogical part. You need administrators setting rules on privacy and ethics. That's governance. And you need the right support and training for everyone involved. That's the operational side. And that brings us to the bottom line, the one big idea that all the research and all the policy discussions keep coming back to. No matter how smart the AI gets, when it comes to decisions that require real judgment and real ethics, the responsibility has to stay with us, with humans. So this all leads us to one final huge question, because this whole thing is much bigger than just adding a new gadget to the classroom. It's forcing us to rethink the entire point of education. When any piece of information is instantly available, when a machine can write an essay in seconds, what are the skills and values that become absolutely essential? What do we need to make sure we teach the next generation? That's the conversation we all need to be having right now.